What's up, everybody? Welcome to John's Daily Hustle. Today, you guys are actually going to get to see the first leaf cleanup I did of 2021. Now, this leaf cleanup is a little bit different than the cleanups you guys have already seen on my channel from last season. So instead, I'm not going to be using my cyclone rake on this. I actually won't even be using my Exmark radius for this, and here's why. So the front yard is actually elevated, as well as the backyard actually is too, so it's very hard to get to. Since it's elevated, I obviously can't get my zero-turn mower in it, which you guys will see what I mean by elevated in the video. You guys will see it's almost like it's built up on top of a retaining wall. So I'm actually going to have to take my little push mower back there, and we're just going to mulch the leaves up. We're going to haul a little bit away, you guys will see, but for the most part, there's just a little bit here we were able to just mulch the front yard up and the backyard. The only things that got hauled away was all the leaves that was in the driveway, but you guys will see that here real soon. Okay, so starting right off the bat, what I'm doing here is there you guys can see it's almost like a retaining wall that the whole front yard is elevated on. That's what I mean by when I said the whole front yard is elevated. So what I'm actually doing right here is, well, as you can see, there's a bunch of leaves here on the sidewalk. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to consolidate them and obviously blow them all over into one strip. And then you can see I've already gone over some of them and mulched them up a little bit. But what I'm doing is I'm blowing them all into one small area and then I'm mulching them up with my little push mower there. And then I'm going to bag them and collect the ones that's just right here in the driveway because I didn't really know what else to do. If I mulch them, I tried mulching them and blowing them actually all up into the front yard to where I could just mulch them up and leave them. But it didn't work so well because I was actually fighting the wind, which you guys can actually see as I'm blowing the leaves up. They're actually flying back at me. And here's a little bit of a slow motion where you can see I'm trying to blow them off of the stairs into the front yard, but that didn't work so well. So here you can see I'm continuing to mulch them up now that I had them all somewhat consolidated from the backpack blower anyways, had them consolidated down to where I don't have to go all over the entire driveway mulching up the leaves. But I've got them mulched up, or I'm starting to mulch them up even more. I do wish this mower had a little bit of a stronger motor. As you guys can hear that it was bogging down quite a good bit, but that's just part of it. I mean, at the end of the day, it is just a little 22-inch push mower, a little Craftsman push mower with I think it's a 6 horsepower motor on it. At the end of the day, I am planning on getting a bigger one. As you guys know, I am going to upgrade here on the channel in the near future. I'll probably go with the Toro 30 or possibly something somewhat around that area, though, in that same category. But we'll see anyways in the near future. Now, here you guys can see I went ahead and put the bag on it. Now, at this point, the bag was getting pretty full, but I continued to go over it just to mulch them up a little bit smaller. Because as I said, I'm actually hauling these leaves away that I'm collecting here. And this is just a little bit that I'm going to actually collect and haul away. Now, I don't want to collect too much because obviously I don't want to haul that many away, but you guys will see I'm going to continue to go over it, and you guys will see I'll stop and I'll actually take the bag out and I'll dump it into a little trash can right here. Now, this was the second load that I had done, or second bag full that I had done. It actually took 3 full bagfuls complete, and I actually was able to fit them all in that trash can. You guys don't see the third load after this, as it's all the same. Now here I actually took my backpack blower and I'm actually in the backyard and I'm continuing to blow all the leaves off of the back driveway here, as you guys can see. And I'm going to blow them off on the back porch next, so I'm going to get them out into that backyard. Now the backyard, as you guys can see, it's really not that bad. The grass is super thick, as the previous owners that lived here, the previous tenants that lived here, did not keep the grass cut. And I'd say it probably should have got cut maybe 2 more times before they moved out, but I mean, I kind of get it. They move out and didn't really want to do it, so I got hired to do it. But anyways, it's not that bad, so I was just blowing them out into the backyard, as mulching these leaves up wouldn't be too terrible bad. With the backyard, even though the grass is high, the little mower I know with the side discharge open can handle it. But so I don't know if you guys got to see that where I said, remember these leaves right here, and I'll talk about it in the next clip. Well, all those leaves that were around my lawnmower motor there, right by the exhaust specifically, you guys can probably have an idea on where I'm going with the story, but I didn't really pay attention to how many leaves were actually getting on top of the motor there by the exhaust. And I'd actually let the mower sit when I was done cleaning up the front yard anyways. Right when I was done cleaning up the front yard, I let it sit as I came back here to do this part here where I'm blowing off the back porch and getting it away from the fence and everything, so I can come back here and clean up the backyard. I actually didn't pay attention to it, but when I walked back out front, it was starting to smoke, and what it was actually doing was it was getting ready to catch the leaves on fire because I had left it there and obviously it touched the hot exhaust. But most of you experienced guys probably already know that that's a bad thing. I know walker mowers had a big problem with that when you're doing big leaf cleanups, that they were constantly touching the exhaust and it would potentially start a fire. Luckily, I was able to walk back just in time before it started a fire, and I cleared the leaves off from it and was able to keep it from starting a fire because it was pretty windy that day and these leaves are really dry. Everything was really dry. It probably would have caught on fire and taken off, and I'd have had an even worse problem on my hands. At least it would have cleaned up the leaves, but hey, it would have been a bad day, right? So now obviously, as you guys can see, I sped this part up so you guys don't get too bored with it, but I'm just mulching up the front yard here, and I left the chute blocker closed obviously because there's a house to my left and there's a road to my right. So this was going long ways across the yard like that. I felt like it would have been the most efficient way. So I didn't want to have the chute blocker open for this one. I just wanted to mulch them up to prevent any potential, anything from happening. Somebody riding by and it throw a rock or throw a stick or something like that. Or just anybody trying to put the blame on me. As a lawn care provider, we're going to get blamed for stuff, especially nowadays with all the scammers that are out there. Everybody's looking for a quick buck or to try and capitalize on your mistakes. So you got to watch out for that and just be very mindful of that. Now, as you guys can see, I finally opened my discharge chute. I'm just running. This is in the backyard where I don't have to worry about anything throwing it. Now, I did obviously turn away from the house every time I made a turn, like that right there, just so nothing would get thrown in through a window or anything like that. Of course, this is a vacant house right now. It's one of my rental property companies I work for. But anyways, as you guys can see right there, it's a really good view of the grass. This grass it should have been cut at least one, maybe two more times before then here anyways, before the tenant moved out. But obviously he didn't, and I understand that. That happens a lot of rental houses don't do that. A lot of the tenants don't really care about how the yard looks when they move out. So it's job stability for me, right? But anyways, I knew just trying to mulch these leaves up that the mower probably wouldn't keep up with that thick grass and the leaves. But anyways, here's a nice little slow motion shot for you guys. As you guys know, I really am digging these slow motion shots of all the leaves discharging. I believe at one part of me doing this slow motion video, I think I hit a can or a soda can, and I think it comes flying out in slow motion. It was pretty interesting to see anyways, but you guys may not see it. You may or may not see it, but anyways, this is definitely one of those jobs where I wish I had the bigger mower, like I had said in the beginning of this video. I wish I had, the 30-inch Toro or the 30-inch Exmark or even one of those. I guess the Troy-Bilt or the Cub Cadet mower would not have worked here because of how heavy it was. It was just too heavy. I wouldn't have been able to pick it up and put it in the front yard where it was elevated. So I guess really a push mower did come in quite handy here, as I didn't want to have to pick up like the Troy-Bilt 33 or anything like that. So that one was the first one of the season that we actually did, even though it's probably the last one of the season that you guys are watching. It was still the first one we did of 2020. And it really wasn't that bad either. It was a pretty easy one to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. And make sure you subscribe for more future content. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.